The Flying Lion says,
boys, hell is real.
2023 Supporter Shield champs.
So glad that I can be back with people who know that it's a Flying Lion.
It shows how much we all love this club.
Yeah, just a fan of the sport, you know.
It's definitely tougher to be an academy player than it is a pro.
In this club, you don't play just for the club, you play for the fans.
Jersey swap, car of the week, trivia question of the week. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Flying Lion podcast. Here tonight talking about all things Leagues Cup. Sam, how we feeling?
Yeah, talking about Leagues Cup, it is what it is, right? I know we'll touch on it here the rest of the episode, kind of our feelings about not only the games that FC Cincinnati has played, but also, you know, kind of Leagues Cup as a whole and the new format and everything. But yeah, I think we're feeling good, as good as maybe you would hope to feel a little bit better, obviously. But I mean, for Leagues Cup, the amount of rotation that we've seen, I think I'm feeling pretty good about FC Cincinnati. What about you?
Yeah, mixed, for sure. Like, because in some aspect, you know, part of me wants to say like, well, don't really care about this tournament, but when the team cares about the tournament, you know, it really kind of turns the fan eye towards, hey, you know, they're actually going for this, so maybe we should put more into this, you know, from our standpoint too. So we'll cover the Monterrey game here briefly, really hit the FC Juarez one in the first part of the episode. We have some storylines that came out of both of these as well. Like Sam mentioned, we'll talk about kind of our impressions of Leagues Cup so far. And then second part, we'll hit our jersey swaps cards of the week. We'll talk about a new signing for FC Cincinnati, so that'll be fun to chat about. And then we'll talk a little bit about previews because it's another 2-match week for FC Cincinnati, split between Leagues Cup and MLS play is returning again coming up on Sunday. So big week again, multiple games. It's just been a wild, you know, end of July into August with transfer window opening and everything as well. So we'll again cover all of this. There's a lot of stuff. Just like 8 a.m. you wake up and you see a new player, Sam. So it's kind of fun. But like I mentioned, Leagues Cup, the round 1 game we had against Monterrey, we did win 3-2. What an awesome night. It was a Thursday night in front of almost 25,000 people. This one was included in your season ticket package, so probably a big reason for a bigger crowd. But lineup-wise, Sam, what were your thoughts when you first see this roll out? We weren't sure we're going to get some rotation, some other guys in there, and then we see a pretty solid lineup.
Yeah, definitely not as much rotation as you and I kind of predicted. But yeah, I think the only rotation that you see is Kai Kamara not up top. And I think you had made a good point there around half of, you know, probably going to see Kai in the second half. But I mean, you probably don't want a guy like that playing 60 minutes, especially in this game against Monterrey. So yeah, but I mean, nice to see Sergio Santos kind of slide in there up with Dado. But yeah, I don't know. What were your thoughts in the lineup? Because obviously, like you said, not much change.
Yeah, I mean, good point with Sergio. You know, sliding in, he slides in and then slides out because he got hurt
real
again.
quick.
So that's a revolving door for him, unfortunately. But yeah, it showed me a signal of intent, you know, for Pat and kind of the whole team. I think some players see Monterrey, you know, in a Club World Cup team that made the, you know, 16 and say, this is an opportunity to kind of show what we can do. And I think for us playing at home was a good moment to kind of show that, but wasn't necessarily surprised, I guess, if we were going to go for it from an availability standpoint. That's about, you know, who we have available in the best, you know, arguably in the moment, but seeing what Dado could look like with Santos, you know, we hadn't really seen that combo a ton. Denke's still unavailable. He's working off to the side in training. So he's building his way there, but he's not quite there yet. So the striker room, which historically, you know, has been deep on paper, again, looked a little bit thin in this one. But man, Sam, what a start for this match, though. You see high energy from the boys. I think Evander almost puts one in, you know, to start the game in the second or third minute. It kind of sets the tone that, hey, these guys are gunning and ready to go. Yeah,
absolutely. I know, you know, in the first 10, 15 minutes there, you see Evander have multiple chances. And honestly, it feels good, especially against a high quality team in Monterrey that's got, you know, big Sergio in the back there and Sergio Ramos. And yeah, obviously, Ryan, I mean, 31st minute, we're right on the board, though.
Yeah, Sam, I'm going to call you out on this one. Sam goes, hey, let's go get some food. We go down to the concourse. We see the goal on TV, but we don't see it live. So, Sam, I'm going to call you out on that one.
It is what it is. It is what it is. We hadn't eaten dinner yet. Come on.
If it means that we score, then I'll take it.
We took one for the team. How would you look at it like that? Come on now.
True. But what a goal it was. Dado's able to kind of squeeze out a pass to Evander, who kind of sidesteps his defender and just rips one in from the top of the box. Sam, let's talk about the fact that this guy had more emotion in this celebration than we've seen combined with all of his other goals that he scored.
I think this was the first 30 minutes was very frustrating for him, with, the refs a little bit not calling some things and things not going quite FC Cincinnati's way in certain moments. But I think that was ultimately the emotion there after the goal. And he felt like, he deserved that one more than, ones that you've seen him calm, cool, collected after he scores usually.
You're right. I mean, you see like a calm Evander, and then he blasts this one in, and you're like, oh man, this guy's got another, level of emotion, which was kind of cool to see. I'll talk about it, at the end of this match and my thoughts about why he had that emotion. But 45th minute, unfortunately, they get one back. They come down on the right side. Canales is given way too much space to the top of the box, deflects off of Anunga, and I believe off of Miazga's chest, hits off of the post. Like, it's so unlucky. But it deflects in and past Evan Leroux, who we failed to mention, but he was the keeper in this one instead of Roman. So it was nice to see Evan get some minutes there. But yeah, so you go into half, you again give one up right before the half, which is unfortunate because you felt like the first 40 minutes plus, Sam, I would say we were a dominant team against a really good opposition. So 1-1 at half, but on the flip side, we come out gunning again in a really odd situation. I'm interested to see your thoughts on Luca Orishano scores this unbelievable 1-2 goal with Evander. So Orishano cuts in, plays it to Evander, who slips it through beautifully. I think Luca probably thinks he's offsides. He's just kind of fooling around, lets it go, between his legs, dribbles the keeper and places it. And then we get like a 7-minute VAR delay to try to figure out if this guy was onside or not. Unfortunately for the situation, this has led to a lot of interesting thoughts by the Mexican supporters. There's been a lot of heat on the center referee after this one because of what was going on with this, review. It doesn't ultimately decide the game in that moment, but it's a big part of what happens in the game. And I still don't know if the guy's onside, to be honest, but we'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely a weird play because you and I we like the world class, but we ultimately thought that he was offside by, a couple feet there. But you kind of look at what VAR was seeing, and one of the far defenders possibly kept him on. But yeah, definitely a longer VAR check than you would have liked there in that situation. I think they said that the center ref had gotten some death threats after the game too. So not good from that vantage point.
Not good at all. No, not good one bit. But 2-1, you're feeling pretty solid from an FCC point. No matter what, we've been screwed before by VAR. We got screwed again in this Juarez game. So you're going to take it when you can. And so finally, past that, we get a second goal in the second half and go up 3-1. And again, it's something you hadn't seen a ton from this team this year, but just kind of hopefully putting in that next gear and that next level. Evander with another brilliant through ball to Buka, who puts it beautifully into the side netting. Just what a good play by both of them, and a Buka shot as well for the goal. But 3-1, you're feeling solid again, but the boys can't play a full 90 minutes, Sam. They got to give up one late and have it be a 1-goal game.
Well, this was our guy, right? You had been chirping him all game from the stands. Mr. Berterame. Ryan was giving him crap, was almost calling. You were calling for boos, right? You were like, should we be booing this guy, right?
Well, he left us at the altar last year in the transfer window. So.
Exactly. So, but he makes his pay. And Ryan, we saw this all game, right? These guys were whipping in crosses literally the entire game from the left, from the right. So it was honestly about time that they get a goal like that. Yedlin and Robinson kind of get caught in no man's land, and all of a sudden you're like, oh geez, are we gonna blow it here? But luckily, final whistle blows and FC Cincinnati gets a 3-2 win against Monterrey. First win in 3 attempts against them.
Yeah, big stat there. We'd played them decent amount of times now and hadn't even gotten a positive result from Champions Cup. So yeah, it was nice to see that. Beating Sergio Ramos, and seeing that his FOTMOP score, if you guys didn't see it, I tweeted it out, 6.3 on the night. Messi was 5.8. So some people just can't do it on weeknights in Cincinnati. But yeah, I felt like almost a complete performance, from the guys. And you can't be mad about 3 points. Obviously, the goal differential might play into things in advancing or not. So you would like maybe to have one more goal advantage. But hey, we're gonna take it. That's a solid team. They were going all out attack there at the end, and we were able.
Yeah, I mean, Ramos was up top for about 30 minutes there.
Yeah,
playing striker.
No kidding. So with 2 second-half assists, Evander now recorded his 10th game this season with multiple goal contributions. In his second match with 3 goal contributions as well. June 25th at Montreal being, I think, the more recent one as well. It was Evander's 18th goal in all competitions, so a tie with Brenner now for 2022 season for 3rd overall in club history, Sam, for goals in a season behind Lucho and Vasquez as well. So interesting to kind of see that one already, with this little games and how many, more games to go. He's going to break the record for sure. But Sam, to kind of touch on the emotion part, Evander's quoted after this match saying, like, we're an ambitious club. This is why I signed with this team. This is why I want to be here. We want to win trophies. And that sets the tone for the whole rest of the team. So for me, hearing like your guy publicly say like this team's going for it, that's why I'm here. But also he's quoted saying like, I step it up another gear when we play these really good teams. And you've seen it now through this stretch with Columbus and Miami. And now you see it, against a Monterrey team too. He just kind of brings it to another level. And I think that's where you see some of the emotion too, is he understands how big of a moment it might be.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he's a guy that, he'll speak when spoken to, but he's not going to be the first person to raise his hand and go, look at me. If he's asked the question, he's going to highlight what the team's doing, what the club's doing, and what we want to do as a collective. And that's the best thing that you could ask for. I mean, we talked about the kind of the mentality him and Denke both have, and it's very selfless. And we're very blessed to have 2 stars on our team that point their finger at literally anybody else but them.
Yeah, no kidding, man. What a nice refresh, for your stars to be that way. But yeah, leading, from this match now to, if we talk, FC Juarez here just yesterday, it ended up being a 2-2 tie. We lost in PKs, but the mentality going into that was, I think, full guns ahead. Let's go for this thing now that we won that first match. I talked to you is I think a lot of teams were placing a lot of emphasis on that first result. And if they won, it kind of sets you up. You almost have to be perfect in this format. Only 4 MLS teams and 4 Liga MX teams can advance, and there's 18 from each respective league. So you almost have to be fairly perfect, to get through and have a really good game for 3 games in a row potentially. So I think for me that showed a signal of intent, and then we see what happens, on Sunday and how the lineup comes out. Were your thoughts the same with who we rolled out in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little interested to see not so much the names, but the formation, I think, is what really surprised us. If I'm right there, obviously we go back to the sword formation, and you see Buka. Honestly, is the big one that does not get the nod because he needs a break, right? He's been going. You talk about full guns blazing. He's been the guy in the middle every game, making a difference. So he was the big name that was out in that one. But yeah, you saw a little bit of rotation come in on the back line too, with Miles out. But Ryan, what'd you make of the sword formation?
For me, it's a force of the hand. I don't think Pat likes this formation, to be honest. I don't think this is the way that the team should play as well. We've seen that now over the course of many games, even going back to earlier this season, last year too. We play better with 2 strikers. That's the bottom line. And whether that's, in a different formation or not, like, you need 2 guys up there to play the ball. The personnel wasn't there. Santos was not available in this match, and he doesn't trust Corey Baird. So who do you put up top next to Kai Kamara? I guess you could have gone with Dado, up there, but then who's the other midfielder that you have if you wanted to rest Buka?
Yeah.
His hand's kind of forced, and I feel like he was going for it with the best available people, understanding that we want to rotate a bit. So for me, it's not necessarily him switching back on tactics. It's more of this is kind of what we have available based on me managing minutes, managing all these multiple games. So I wouldn't put as much emphasis on that and more just the availability. But Roman was back in this one. You saw Flores and Hidebe step in the back line, and it seemed to be a little bit out of sorts. Obviously, if we go down two goals, in this one, Matt's the steady guy in the middle, but there's some issues created when you aren't playing routinely with the other center backs, and you have a number 10 as your number 8. That's another big issue. So we saw that in the first half. I think that's the first thing that I would want to kind of step in and say right away is it looked sloppy. It felt sloppy. There wasn't any sustained possession because your anchor, your guy, Buka, was out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was very sloppy the first 20 minutes. Luckily, Celentano back in the back to be able to make 2 great saves there around like the 10th minute to keep them out. But yeah, immediately, Ryan, I think we didn't really know too much about this Juarez team. I believe you had said this was our 6th Liga MX team that we've ever played. So, and I found out that they actually were founded the same year that we were, right? So they're a newer club, just like us, as far as, the legacy that is in Mexican soccer. So, this team, very scrappy team, Ryan, and they were falling all over the field.
Scrappy, I was going to say, is one way to put it, because it was just absolutely driving me crazy that every time they were touched, they were complaining, they were diving, their coaches were making a fit about everything. Starting in the 2nd minute when they wanted a red card on Matt Miazga, it was just more of a mental game than it was a game played, as soccer. It was just a lot of honestly, it was a lot of BS is what it was. And not
you think that's, I mean, how the bench reacted every time somebody was touched. Do you think that's a drill in their practices?
It's all led by their coaching. I mean,
Yeah.
Look at the coaching staff. Every single time there was a call for a possible second yellow on Miazga, out of the box for every single call. Or if there was one that they didn't like, out of the box. I mean, that's a yellow card early on, and this ref just didn't handle it at all. And then with the physical play, she failed in so many ways to control this match. And I just felt like it got out of hand. I felt like Evander was kind of checked out because he was sick of getting fouled and he wasn't being protected. And then there was calls that should have been made that weren't made. There was VARs for possible PK, in the 43rd minute. This obviously comes after their goal. So their goal comes from a guy who's 5'8", who actually had go when Matt Miazga hits this guy, early on in the match. So the PK comes, the check a couple minutes after. It could have been 1-1. Sam, what did you see in this play? I saw it from a different angle, but what were your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously watching on TV for this one, it was a very close call, but Flores, it seems like the ball hits Flores's head, and then the punch from the keeper is coming in almost a split second after that. But then the body comes straight through Flores and knocks him out of the play. So, I mean, regardless if you're saying that he got to the ball first and wasn't going to score anyway, well, who's to say that, if the keeper didn't run into him, right, somebody else was going to be able to score, or, whatever was going to happen there. But yeah, VAR check, actually goes to the monitor on this one, other than, last game against Monterrey, where it was just straight, right? Like no monitor, just straight to it. But you're thinking after they go to the monitor, you're like, okay, like we're going to get a good resolution here. And she's at the monitor for a while, like way too long. Like it looks like she's about to make a decision after watching it for like 5 seconds. And you're like, okay. And then she sits there longer and ultimately rules no foul and gives them a corner kick. So
why even go look at this one then? Like, if there's a clear infraction enough that you have to go and be sent over to the monitor, like, is it a pride thing that you don't want to call it and reverse it, to say that you were wrong? Is that why you didn't call the PK? Like, I don't understand it. Like, it's a bang-bang play. You're right. Like, we get the header first. Like, so for me, we win the ball and the guy goes through us. Like, they're always going to try to rule in favor of the goalkeeper, but like clearly our guy wins the ball and the body comes through at the end. So yeah, for me, like, is it questionable? For sure it's questionable, but like, why even be sent to the monitor if you're not going to call it that? And then you have that long of a delay. All of their players are standing behind her as well. That's another thing that was frustrating. So I don't know. It was just ridiculous. I liked your text to me, though, at halftime. It's not like we didn't have chances. Like, every time we get kind of caught up into the ref game and whatnot, we always sort of lose our edge in what we're doing, as a team. So we did have chances. Can't say we didn't. And another one comes right after the half where, we do get the subs finally in. We get Buka, we get Robinson at half. But, man, what an unbelievable opportunity did Yedlin have.
Yeah, I mean, on this one, Engel puts in a good cross, and he's wide open on the back post. And I think we've seen this way too many times from Yedlin the past, 2 seasons, where he just misses a wide open header. And all you had to do, you texted me, you were like, all he's got to do is put a body on it, put something on it, and it goes in. So unfortunately there, we don't get the tying goal, and that leads to Juarez being able to capitalize on that and get their second.
Yeah, it just felt bad, man. You go down 2 at home like that. This team isn't historically that great in Liga MX, but they're scrappy, and I could see why they could potentially make a run at things. And they feel maybe like this is their chance if they're not going to win, anything in their own league. But man, from whatever point it was on, I think we get the subs of Ender and Steven Jimenez, and we just looked like a new energized team. And honestly, like, Evander just started to play. Like, literally, that's all it comes down to, is that somebody kicked him enough that he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go and just do what I do. And 72nd minute, man, he gets this ball. They give him way too much space. They probably don't think he's gonna hit it from 35 out. Probably that's generous. Probably about like 30 out. And just rips the goal of the match day, is what it was called for Leagues Cup this week, actually. Unbelievable shot. Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the kind of the goalkeeper, it kind of looked like it had some knuckle or some curve on it. Either that or the defender. I think there was a defender in the way of the keeper, so he didn't quite see it. But the way he reacted, it was kind of like, whoa, like,
wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, what kind of strike was that?
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, there was not a player 10 yards from him when he first got the ball on his feet. So obviously, I mean, Evander's just gonna carry us right to the promised land, hop on his back, and here we go. But Ryan, I mean, 5 minutes later, we're hopping on his back again.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is just like, once he gets going and decides that he wants to just go at it, like, he goes at it. And what a ball by him. I think there was a corner right before that gets played out, and he has this idea to play it, close, right at the keeper and see if there's a deflection. And he just plays an unbelievable ball. At first, I'm thinking, he just hit one in directly from the corner at Olympico. But their guy, obviously deflects it in. It just was awesome of a comeback, like a very unexpected comeback, but it shows the fight, when you have the best player in the league, on your team and on the field. And man, just like that, 2-2, you come down to the close, and there's chances as well. I mean, like, we had one, I think Evander gets stuffed right in the box. We would have had a potential game-winning goal. The game's about to close out, 90 minute plus 4, and there's no corner awarded. They end the match on that and go to straight PKs. It was just a wild game overall. Like, let's be honest, Leagues Cup again, Leagues Cup, and that was our moment right there in this match. And just coming back, what good resolve from the team. The PKs for me are 50-50.
It is what it is.
You just get unfortunate. There's so much slack out there, and I think it's all external about all these people coming in and online saying like, oh, Evander this and that. It's like, really? Did you watch the game? Did you see what this guy did? Stuff like that happens. PKs happen, and for me, it's fluky. It could go either way. The bottom line out of them, though, like, Leroux is our keeper for PKs. It's not Roman. I'm sorry, Roman. I love you. You were my jersey swap last week, but he's just not it when it comes to PKs.
I will say, I mean, he saves the last one to keep
He
us
does, that's true.
alive, right? And I
That's
feel
true.
like that's when Roman comes in clutch, is that very last PK when we need it.
Good shout.
You know, he may not be very good at, but I want to. It takes him a while, right?
Yeah.
It takes him a while to get
He
into the
guesses
PK
so
mindset.
early on the PKs. He just
Yeah.
goes and just hopes that he guesses the right way instead of kind of being reactionary on some of it. Like there's different thoughts, to that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. And so, okay, if you think about, you get 1 point out of it still. What a great comeback and resolve from the team. If that's a regular league match, you feel pretty solid about that comeback there. But I can't be too upset about it, in the setting and everything. Obviously, I would have wanted 2 points, but it kind of, coming out of it, Sam, it makes you really think about where you're at in Leagues Cup and where you want to go with it. Some steps before we get into your thoughts about it, though. We now sit in 8th in the Leagues Cup standings on the MLS side. We need 3 points and probably better than 3 goal differential to kind of move on to get to that top 4, like you're saying here. Evander's 19th goal across all competitions in 2025. He's solely in 3rd now. Just unbelievable how he's carrying this team, literally carrying this team right now. And then shout out to Ender Echenike for making his debut. He was a nice spark off the bench there. The kid's got talent. I think he's got a lot of potential. He's definitely raw. He's definitely undersized. But if he can kind of put things together, he looked fairly comfortable out there against.
There was a couple moments there where it was like,
shout out to him and Steven. I felt like Steven Jimenez was really going into tackles very hard and was more of a better 8, honestly, than Dado was. So maybe for the future, if you're gonna put him on the bench like we have been, maybe
it was the guy, right? So Steven comes in and he's the guy that's not trying to do too much.
Yeah, he's playing simple.
You play simple, you possess the ball, you pass it where it needs to go. You don't try and do anything crazy.
Right.
And you let the playmakers play make, right?
Sure.
And I thought he did a good job of kind of controlling his composure and being able to help us honestly get those 2 goals and be a part of that.
Yeah, it was a nice change of pace in some aspects with some younger guys. We're so used to experience older guys, and like these fresh guys come in and they're like, we want to show ourselves too. We want to be on this team. And that's what you need. That's what good teams need, is a little bit of both.
Well, especially during Leagues Cup.
Absolutely. Now's the time, man. Why not? Why not do it now? And like we had been shouting prior to the tournament for these young guys to get some minutes. So finally got to see some of that, and pretty decent result out of that too. But storyline, Sam, if we look at things, we were talking about Leagues Cup in this format so far, where we stand, like, what are your thoughts about how we feel about this?
For the format, I honestly, I don't mind it. I think it kind of makes me feel like it's going to be over quicker, right? Just the way that it's set up. I know it's probably the same amount of time as far as days that it takes, but having only 4 people move on from the MLS and 4 from the Liga MX, like, it makes it feel like you said, like, you have to be perfect. And if you're not, well, you can kind of just let the young guys play, right? Like, for those teams that don't have any points right now, just let the young guys play and see what they can do, right? So I don't hate it. But I know you and I will still forever have problems with this straight to PKs like situation. It's weird for a cup competition to do that. I know we see, right, MLS Next does that all the time, where you get 1 point, right, for just making it to full time, and then 2 points if you win the PKs. But yeah, I don't mind the new format.
Yeah, I would agree. I think, from last year, if you go back and look at some of our episodes, we were kind of griping about how it's a full month off from the season and teams kind of lose their form. Going through this, there's potential for injuries, but there's also a chance for recovery then if you do have a month, if you look on the flip side. For me, the fact that you have to be perfect is kind of, it makes it even more strategic. Like, we have to essentially find our way into the last 8, but then play matches between some of the regular season games. So you have to play pieces in different ways and kind of show, are you going for it? Are you not? It kind of forces teams to look at it and say, like, I think Evander said 6 matches to go win the whole thing. I mean, that's not a ton if you really think about it. So it's a good opportunity for a trophy if you really, really kind of put it down on that way. But in how it's condensed, it could be difficult too. So I think I do like the change in it. How I would want us to kind of see this out, I don't want us to overstretch guys. Obviously now we've had 2 matches. We kind of sit in a fringe position. I think we'll talk about it a little bit later, but luckily a lot of the other teams play before us. So it kind of gives us an opportunity to say, do we even have a chance or not? Should we go and rest these guys? How do we want to see it out? Obviously we sit in a really good position in the league. So are we going to prioritize that? Or are we going to go for it, on Thursday before we play on Sunday again? So it's, again, something that we'll see, the team's intent, I would say, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this team, like you said, though, I mean, do we see a rotation? Do we see more of a starting, right? I mean, you could see shouts for getting Ender a start, right? So that way he gets familiar with the starting lineup, right? And, you throw some people that may be starters, right, going forward in with that rotation of that squad, right? The guy that we just got on loan, right? I mean, he's not obviously not in the Leagues Cup, but coming into this next week against Charlotte, right? Like, what does that rotation look like? Are we gonna need it a little bit more than what we would again in Leagues Cup? But yeah, I honestly like what you said. Having the teams play before us, I think is always a good thing to be able to gauge. I mean, obviously, every game you want to go out there and you want to give it 110%. But from a coaching standpoint, you can kind of control that a little bit better when you know the results of other people.
Yeah, it'll help us to kind of narrow it down. And I get it. Like, if you really think about past this one, you have 3 more matches to potentially win a trophy. Like, that's also a nice look, but you don't want to overextend your guys. And then that creates, injury problems. So see how these guys came out of this last match, see potentially who can go and not, but we'll get a better idea, I'm sure, by probably Wednesday, really at where we stand. But Sam, another storyline is just how important Pavel Bucha is to this team. He scores against Monterrey, ends up being the game winner, in that match. And then in this one, he's out in the first half. We're down 0-1. He comes in the second half. I wouldn't say the goal is necessarily on him, but the possession runs through this guy. He's the engine. He just looks so comfortable out there. And you really see, our MVP, Evander, really gel with Bucha, I think. And it's really making even more of a difference now than we've seen even in the past.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, Bucha is he is much needed for this squad. I think what people have said, Evander's the MVP, but Bucha's the MIP, right? Most important player. So I think going forward, tracking his kind of his physique, right? Understanding when he's going to need rest or if he needs it, because honestly, our win percentage goes down when he's not on the field. So I think that's going to become very apparent here towards the end of the season.
We need to go find, another Pavel, honestly, before the end of this window. It needs to happen soon. But yeah, I know that's a great point. Excited to hopefully see him have a great, end stretch to the season here, but not, again, where he's like stretching himself too far or too thin. So it was nice break for him, but it really showed how much we did need him, actually. But Sam, this trivia question I have for you here before we go to the break is solely around our guy, the guy in just the most unbelievable form right now. Trivia of the week presented by Goals TV. Where does Evander sit all time for goal contributions versus other Brazilians in MLS play?
I'm trying to think of like the Brazilians that we've had in the MLS. You've got Kaká, you've got obviously Brenner in our, case. I know we've had a couple other notable guys. I'm gonna go he sits third.
All right, Sam's locking in third. You guys will find out at the end of the episode. We'll be right back. Hey, everyone. Just a quick message from Ryan and Sam here at the Flying Lion Podcast. We wanted to share some exciting news with you. The Flying Lion Podcast has officially partnered with Chatterbox Sports. We are very excited to be a part of the Chatterbox community, as they have proven to give you the very best coverage of Cincinnati sports thus far.
For those who are new to the Flying Line podcast, we cover FC Cincinnati news, game recaps, analysis, and unique segments such as our trivia question of the week, jersey swap of the week, card of the week. Give us a listen on our post-match shows on every away game on Chatterbox YouTube and our weekly episodes wherever you get your podcast. Thank you again for your support.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Leagues Cup has Leagues Cup so far, but hey, we're still in this. We're still alive, Sam. We got a chance to move on if that's what we want to do. If we want to go for MLS, I would totally understand that as well. Either way, I'm here for it. It's been fun to watch. There was a double header. I did not stay for the second game, the Monterrey versus Red Bulls match. I have a 1-year-old at home. She was not having it, but why are we having this New York Red Bulls game against Monterrey and Cincinnati? That's a great question. I think it's because of the seeding of Monterrey and where their home was technically, for Leagues Cup, but it was pretty ridiculous. But anyway, we'll roll on to our jersey swaps, Sam. I think we both agreed on this one for this week to collectively go in potentially for... What did you think? I don't know. You're throwing the hands up at me.
No, yes. Yeah. I'm just, it threw everybody else off, right? Yes. Evander is our collective jersey swap of the week. This guy, I'd want to swap jerseys with him every single day, Ryan. This is the guy that he is now the face of the MLS. He is somebody that you're looking to for leadership, whether it be, through the way he plays or now, speaking out in interviews going, hey, we're going for trophies. We are a club that, wants that hardware, wants that silverware. So obviously, Evander, absolute world class, the way he plays. Ryan, do you think we need, I need somebody, I don't know if we're going to be able to do, maybe one of the police officers at the next game, if they've got a radar gun, we need to see how fast this guy's kicking the ball because he's shooting rockets into the back of the net. He's leave. I know when he scores, we let the smoke go, but I could swear it singes the netting. You could see it.
Sam, we're gonna post it out here on X. I have the poll. Who's got the faster kick versus arm between Ellie and between Evander for shot versus kick?
Yeah, there you go.
Shot versus kick from throw versus kick. On his goal this past game was insanely quick. The one against Monterrey was probably even faster, actually.
Yeah.
So when he hits goals, man, they're bangers. And I'm gonna shout out my wife Lauren on this one. She said that he has his Michael Jordan moments throughout the game, and I was like, that's pretty accurate. Yeah. Where just like all of a sudden it's just like he's just so casual with it, and then it's just like he just turns into a killer, and you're like, wow.
We're just missing the shoulder shrugs then at this point. Celentano's got to show him how to do it.
He did you see the goggles he had on the bus before with when he was with Portland? He's got the swagger for it. Dude's unbelievable. We're going to kind of post an update on this as well. We talked about it a few episodes ago, but his fro is growing with the amount of goals that he's had. So stay tuned for that. For every goal, he's growing this fro out just a little bit longer. But yeah, there was nobody else this week. Obviously we shouted out Buko before, and he had a pretty solid week for us.
Orshano looked good as well.
I would say so too. Yeah, that's a good one. But Evander clearly is just taking over and carrying this team right now in a moment where, maybe it's a longer stretch in the summer. There's a lot of matches. Evander's out there, everyone. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he's out there for the next two. Even though he probably should get some rest since he's played so many minutes, but I think he'll be out there.
No, absolutely. This guy played in the All-Star game too, so he definitely deserves a break at some point.
Yeah, absolutely. Sam, on the flip side, what do you have for your card of the week?
Yeah, card of the week. Mine's going to be a little unusual. You look around the MLS, you look around soccer, and you're like, man, what else is going on? For me, card of the week is going to be robots playing soccer. So robot teams from China and other countries are preparing for the inaugural World Humanoid Robot Games. The games include about 20 events scheduled to take place August 14th to the 17th in Beijing. There's about 30 robot teams that have registered to play soccer in this competition. And apparently the robots' current football skills are probably comparable to about 5 to 6 year olds. But they are developing very rapidly, the article says. But yeah, it looks as bad as it sounds and not very entertaining.
Hey, they're already starting to take over some jobs, so they don't need to be starting to take over some sports too. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
It looks very interesting. I mean, Ryan, when they fall down, they get back up on their own, and it's very.
They don't
very
flop
weird.
around. They don't roll around on the pitch. They haven't programmed to do that yet?
Yeah, it's got to be natural. We're looking for natural here.
Only
natural
the
movements.
Brazilian robots.
Ooh, maybe the Brazilian team. Yeah.
Flop around on the pitch.
Yes. Yeah, their robot's been watching a lot of Neymar.
It's true. The program setting.
What was your card, though?
My card of the week, Sam, for those who didn't see it, I hate to go with this, but it's what we saw. It didn't get really a ton of publicity that I could see. I know there was some reports about it, but after the match for Inter Miami, they had a situation where Messi goes up and yells in a player's face and just like throws a little tirade with this player. Afterwards, they hug it out, and everyone's like, "Look how great of a player he is," and how he can lose his cool, but can make up for it. But then he goes and grabs another player by the neck, and he doesn't get suspended. Obviously, he's hurt right now, and that's low-hanging fruit. But he goes and grabs the other player by the neck. And what happened when Lucho did that, Sam? He got suspended for several games.
Well, this isn't the first time Messi's done that either, and no repercussions for either incident. So, yeah, I know last week we had said, it kind of seems like Messi's becoming a little bit of a villain in the MLS.
This just proved it here. I thought it was his bodyguard was supposed to be doing all this. Wasn't DePaul supposed to be the one that's doing all this?
Well, the funny thing is Messi's being the enforcer, like the attacker, though. Like, it's not like people are doing anything to him. He's
going to them.
Yeah, he's going to them and doing it to them. And it's kind of uncharacteristically like you've been watching Messi, your entire life, right? Oh my gosh, like he's so down to earth. He's so much, level-headed, more, calm, cool, collected than Ronaldo. Like he's this, kind of GOAT, if you will, in that category. But then for some reason this season and last season in the MLS, he's kind of, I don't know, he's more relaxed maybe. And he's kind of like, I don't really care. Like they're paying me millions of dollars to be here to do this. I'm going to do whatever.
I don't know if he feels like he has like special privileges and can't be touched and whatever. The thing for me that I should add to this card is that his bodyguard is on the pitch protecting him from the other players that are trying to come back at him. Did you see this at the end of the clip? He does that, they separate, and then the bodyguard protects him from the other player that was coming at him.
That's interesting. I feel like I've seen that online a bunch with certain like
with fans that run on the pitch but not other players.
Well, I'm saying with like streamers, right? You see like those streamers that like instigate things and then they let their bodyguards like, because you can't touch me, I'm behind the bodyguards, right? It gives me those vibes.
Yeah, not a fan of it. Yeah, good. Sam, I like your card better than mine. The robots are, but I'm not fond of players getting away with grabbing other players' necks, though. That's not cool either.
Absolutely not.
But Sam, we move on. We had a new player sign. Like I said, Saturday morning, 8 a.m. FC Cincinnati was like, let's just drop a bomb and just tell you guys.
Good morning, Cincinnati.
Yeah, exactly. But we have this new player coming in from France on loan. It is a guy that I'm going to butcher his name here. Ayoub Jabbari.
Yeah.
Ayoub Jabbari, 6'4" forward coming in from France, 25 years old. Joins the Orange and Blue through the end of this season. We do have a purchase option to go and get him for next year. He's going to occupy an international spot. Everyone's question, not everyone's, but my question was like, we're out of international spots. So like, how does this guy fit? But apparently Laurel reported, we are in negotiations for an international spot right now. For me, that means that roughly 400,000 that we're going to get for Thomas Muller's discovery rights are going to go towards probably a discovery or a international spot for Jabbari. But Sam, thoughts about this new signing, the striker?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, it came out of nowhere. But immediately you see dude's 6'4". So that's pretty solid. And he's younger than Kamara. So he's going to be a guy that is
it's hard to be older than Kamara.
That's fair. That's fair. But I mean, he looks to be a better option, right? Maybe we see Kai Kamara more come on later in games now, as he originally was supposed to. Now you can put Jabbari up there with a guy like Denke and have that 1-2, the guy that can hold up play while, Denke is able to race by, or Evander's able to find Denke, via that. So obviously excited to have this guy on. He scored 3 goals in 26 league appearances with Grenoble in his most recent season. And then,
League 2 in France?
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, not much production there, but you look at the highlights that FC Cincinnati came up with, Ryan, and I mean, like you said, the FOTMOB comparisons, though.
Yeah, for what this guy is, he's not necessarily the goal scorer. He's not the guy. He's not the Kevin Denke, golden boot of the Belgian league, but he's going to put in all the dirty work to make Denke and to make Evander better. So for me, I was a little skeptical about that. And, he's not really played in a first division necessarily, but the French league is tough. And, if you look at, like, he was with Paris FC, he's played in Spain, he's got good experience over there where, a lot of his teams have had to fight to stay up and be, promoted or relegated. In this guy's 6'4", like you said, he's legitimately going to be Kai Kamara's protege. He's going to learn everything about playing in this league. He's the same body build. We've seen how much Kai has just wrecked havoc. Like, he hasn't scored, he's got an assist, but he's been able to unlock the offense so much better. And this is really kind of punctualized by what we saw in this match with one striker, Sam. When we played Juarez and we only had Kai there, Kai can only do so much there by himself. And I think based on his age and his profile, this guy can come in and give us sustained minutes and be that Kai, and then let Kai come in at the end of the game, like you're saying, and win some balls in the air on set pieces and go get those deep balls and hold up play. I think that's what this guy is. So to your point about the FOTMOB stats here, compared to other forwards, he's got 97% aerial duels won. I mean, that's awesome. That's what we need. And then 100% defensive action. So he's going to be really good for a press and working hard up there with Denke to try to win the ball back. So I'm really excited to see this. Probably, I wouldn't say raw talent because he's 25. He's been in, some higher leagues, but I would say maybe an unproven goal scoring talent, but I think it'd be perfect of a fit for what we need.
Well, and like you said, I mean, this may be able to this opportunity on a winning team, right, can honestly help him in his career. Like you said, I mean, he's been on teams that have been fighting to stay up or, fighting from relegation. So yeah, honestly, him being able to be a part of a winning team, he can kind of be a part of this culture and just understand, hey, this is what we need you to do to win.
Right. Yeah. He's rated a 65 on FC 25. Everyone wants to know that. That's so his strength and his jumping was his best attributes, I must say. That's pretty cool to see. He's physical, and that's what we need in this league and in this moment. We really need a guy to hold up play. And I feel like sometimes our strikers, when you put Dado up there, he's not a hold up striker. Luca Orshano, he's not a hold up guy. And when you have those guys, it unlocks Denke. Like, that's clearly what we've been missing since our guy Vasquez had left. Like, I think Kevin Kelsey was an honorable mention, for what could have been in filling those shoes. But I don't think Jabbari is anything to what Vasquez is by any means, but he's what we need in this moment. We don't need, a $9 million guy. I think, somebody had actually mentioned to me is, you don't really necessarily want to have that purchase option for, $7 million. You want to have that maybe $2 or $3 million option where next year it looks a little bit better, and potentially signing this guy if he pans out well and kind of can fit into the roster and he doesn't break the bank. and that's
especially if
healthy.
you've got guys up top with Kamara expiring contract,
Right.
Baird, Santos probably not going to be around if we had to guess. So keeping a guy like that, especially like you said, if he does all the dirty work and is able to elevate our stars, right? Kind of like Buka, right? Where Buka kind of does the dirty work, and he obviously is an unsung hero in our hearts because we know that he makes the world go round. But yeah, it should be nice to have this guy up top and playing with us. So excited to see him in the coming weeks. But Ryan, on to FCC 2. They played the top dogs in Philly 2, and coming into this match, dude, unbeaten streak of 8 matches. They had been on a roll. Unfortunately, this one is done early. They lost 1-0, and I believe the goal was scored in like the first 2 minutes. So you have the rest of the match to get the equalizer, and they just weren't able to get it.
Yeah, unfortunate. I mean, that's a crazy long streak for them. Going to play against Philly's academy and their next pro team is always going to be challenging. They were without Kevin Sullivan, who's training with Man City right now, actually. So that result hopefully is not, the skid of this team because, again, they've been playing well. I think they'll bounce back in a big way. They're going to be playing again. Actually, next Monday, they're going to play Crown Legacy, who actually has a pretty decent squad this year, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that it's kind of wild to see that it's the first loss that we've had since we played them back in June, actually. So we don't have the Union's number both in the first team and the second team right now. But hopefully we can come back. I think at the end of this month, we play Philly again for our first team. So I think we'll hopefully be amped up and ready to go for that. Yeah,
absolutely. So FCC 2 sits at 12th right now. Okay. And they're the reason they're 12th is because they have a game in hand. So everybody else has played 20 games. They played 19, or else they'd be up in 10th because I think there's like 3 teams there tied with 26 points. So once again, we'd still kind of be right outside playoffs for FCC 2. But like Ryan said, go check out the game on Sunday or on Monday, August 11th. They return home. So obviously always fun to go watch FCC 2. But Ryan, going into Leagues Cup again, we play Chivas here on Thursday, right?
I believe Thursday, yeah.
Yeah, so this would be the 3rd time playing Chivas all time, and we've won both matches prior, absolutely whooped them. 3-1 both times. And so, Ryan, the big name for Chivas, though, Chicharito.
Yeah, the Mexican legend, Chicharito. Chivas is a big club. I even saw some people at this match that were wearing and rocking the Chivas stuff. So I don't know if they were confused about who was playing, but they are a massive following, probably one of the biggest behind Club America. But yeah, excited to see this one again. Like we talked about earlier, lineup wise, I think maybe a little bit of a rotation is what you might see. I think Leroux might get a shout, for this one. We'll see how some of the other guys came out of it. Sam, do you think that Miazga maybe gets a rest and we have Miles be the anchor? I think that would be my other shout for this game potentially. And then maybe Steven Jimenez, let him go in and ball out.
We liked what we saw out of him. I could see Miazga coming out. He's not gonna want to, but I think giving him some rest, especially now that we're kind of in the second half of the season. You saw him go out obviously middle of the season last year, so being able to just keep the pace that we're already on, and not having another center back go out. I know here in the coming weeks, Hagelin could still be back with us. So keeping all our center backs healthy is a good idea there. But yeah, honestly, Steven Jimenez, giving him a shout, whether that be Anunga gets a break and it's, Jimenez and Buka there in the middle, just playing traditional midfielders. But yeah, I don't know. Those are good shouts though.
Yeah, like we mentioned, though, earlier in the episode, this kind of depends on the results beforehand. So Minnesota, Columbus, Orlando all played before us. Miami on 5 points also plays before us. So we're going to get a better sense of where we sit, what we need to get done, where Chivas sits is important as well. So right now they're on 3 points. They did draw against Charlotte, but won on PKs. They lost against Red Bull. So sitting at 3 points for them, that's harder to come back from. So I think we might see maybe a rotated squad from Chivas potentially. They're sitting low, kind of right down. If I look at the standings as it sits, they don't really have a great shot to make it. So maybe it is an opportunity for us to go and play a dominant side, get maybe the goal differential we need and move on that way if we want to play it that way. If your star is saying, hey, we're going to go for it, we want to win trophies, then maybe that's the way we go. But then you have a match on Sunday as well. So it's a double-edged sword with that. I think you'll see a lot of what we saw Sunday where some pieces get rotated, but you still have a strong group, if I had to guess, just based on what we know with Pat. He's not going to just be like, you know what?
Full rotation.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see that. But Sam, I like your notes here. For those who aren't familiar, if clubs are level on points after their phase 1 matches, the following tiebreakers kind of go into determination. Wins in regular time would be the first, goal differential, then most goals scored, fewest goals conceded, fewest points during the table, and then draw organized by Leagues Cup, which is just we decide this team is going to move on. Yeah, I don't know, man, but I hope it doesn't come down to a tie break. That would kind of be heartbreaking if we had to go full, fledged into this one and tire out our players and we still don't make it. That's kind of worst case scenario. But prediction wise, what do you think is going to happen in this one?
I'm going with history here, Ryan. History tells me that FC Cincinnati is going to win 3-1 because they have the last 2 times against Chivas. So if we go 3-1, that gives us a goal differential of 3, right? And so, like I had said earlier, that magic number is going to be around 3 or 4 goal differential for us to be in the top 4 there.
Yeah, for me, I have a 2-1 win. I think as well, just knowing the situation for Chivas, they're early on in their season. They know they're not really potentially in this one. They're probably more playing for their fans and for their young players. The funny thing that I don't know if you caught this, some of the Liga MX players, the youth players, rock the triple digit number.
Yeah.
There was a 237 for Juarez. So maybe we'll see some triple digit Chivas players in this one. But yeah, I think we have to go for it. I hope the score is more where you have it, where the goal differential, we need a little bit more. But realistically, and knowing this team, we love 1-goal games too much. So I still think we win. I don't know if it's enough though. Looking at some of the other matches and the teams that these guys have, I feel like the MLS teams have done pretty well overall in the competitions. But maybe we want to pull for some of the Liga MX teams to come and win these out. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll keep you guys in tune, depending obviously on what happens. We'll dictate. But I believe if we move on, Sam, we'll probably play next week, either Wednesday or Thursday.
Yeah, midweek
is where it sits. Yeah. So we'll have another midweek match and then another Saturday match for league. So it's just a hectic schedule right now. But that's Thursday. That's Leagues Cup. Now we jump to Sunday. We play Charlotte at home in our 10-year anniversary match at TQL. It's a Sunday night. Kind of a bummer that we have an alumni match and it's on a Sunday night. I wish we had a little bit more to celebrate throughout the night, considering we do have a match after the match, Sam.
Yeah. So in this one, Charlotte, obviously we played them earlier this season, lost 2-0 earlier in March. So obviously we were a squad that was not put together quite yet, not gelling like we are now. And Ryan, Charlotte's on a heater. They've won 4 of their last 5 matches in MLS play, and they sit at 7th in the East. So notably, Patrick Ajamang transferred to Derby County maybe a month ago, I think at this point.
Yeah, about 3 weeks ago,
yeah, so they're missing their big guy up front, but that hasn't seemed to slow them down, at least in MLS play. Lineup-wise, Ryan, do you think, I know you at the beginning of the episode here, we talked about Denke still being unavailable, but he's practicing off to the side. Do you think we see him at all in this game, or maybe a sub appearance, anything like that?
Yeah, I think a sub is likely. I think they've been targeting this 10th date like since he's sustained the injury against Columbus. I think they're like, all right, what's the timeline? All right, let's get you back by Leagues play. Like obviously we would love him back for Leagues Cup, but I think you're looking at Denke coming off the bench. He's not going to start right away.
Almost like a month, right?
Mhm.
Almost a month that he's been out. So you've been tracking that. And understandably, I think you could also see Hagelin possibly come in and on alumni night get his 150th
That'd be cool.
appearance. That would be a cool gesture by Pat. Obviously, depending on how the game's going, but yeah, another name, Kubo. I mean, we haven't seen Kubo since May. And I know there's a lot of, other things going around circulating, but I just wanted to touch on it, Ryan, to see if we had any like inklings. I know since May, it was the hamstring first, and then he played
like a calf injury.
Yeah. And then he was out again, and it's like a calf, ankle, something.
Yeah.
On some sites, you'll see where it's an ankle, right? MLS, like injury report, it's an ankle. But if you go on a website like Transfer Market, the injury is just unknown. So, which I think, to be honest, is a little bit more accurate than the ankle. Unknown might be a better answer.
We all have no clue, honestly. I think some of the people that have been, at practice, I think Laurel may have even mentioned it too, that I believe Kubo's been there maybe off to the side for a lot of it, but I still don't think you see him. I think lineup-wise, you're going to see a strong one just because we're upset that we lost against Charlotte earlier in the year. And we got to capitalize at home, Sam. You got to win down the stretch. I mean, we have, 8-9 games left in the league? 9, I believe. And 6 are at home. You got to win your home matches. And this is where it starts. This is how we go the rest of the season. And it sets a tone on where we want to be. Do we want to be Shield contenders, or do we just kind of want to hang around the top 4 and get a home playoff match? So, for me, I think I'm going to go a 1-0 victory. I think it'll be close. Charlotte, like you mentioned, doesn't have that stretch forward right now. They're really struggling a little bit without him. You mentioned their hot run of form, but in Leagues Cup, they haven't shown well.
Juarez, Juarez got him.
Juarez got him bad, and then they just lost as well in PKs. So for me, I think that we're going to come out positive in this one. It's going to be a tough match. Their defense is pretty strong. They have a good keeper, obviously, too. But I really think you're going to ride the hot hand or hot foot of Evander, maybe get a shout out for Denke late that comes in and can produce something. But what do you have for this one?
Yeah, I had 1-1. And I think I'm just going draw to be safe. Like you had said, we lost to Charlotte earlier this year. And I think we will come out hot. I just don't know if we're going to be able to sustain it. In the second half, we may give up something. So I'm just going to go 1-1. If we get 3 points, I'm going to be real happy. But Ryan,
don't you think this sets the tone though?
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a huge one off of the break, and you have, possibly Jabbari in this one. You have maybe Denke there. Like, you're hopefully coming out of Leagues Cup healthy, and you can say, like, we sit, 1 point back of the top right now. Like, I feel like they're going to be even more inspired with the fact that it's the 10-year anniversary. There's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of energy in the stadium. And then you have this match after the game, Sam. The 10-year anniversary alumni match. First time we've seen it for FC Cincinnati. Pretty cool to see. We had both shouted out that it would really be cool to see this happen in Nippert. If they had that match there, maybe if we had like an MLS then back-to-back with the alumni, that's probably never going to happen. The agreements and where they can play and whatnot. But yeah, this match will be 2 15-minute halves taking place 30 minutes after, the main one. It again is kind of unfortunate with how bad the pitch looks right now. The pitch has just been torn up, with all of our matches. Then you had Monterrey against Red Bulls. Now you have Thursday, Sunday, and you're going to have this alumni match after it as well. Like, our field has just been through the ringer.
Yeah, I don't care what you do to the pitch. Just make it look good. Just if you got to spray paint it, if you got to just make it look good for this one. Because like you had said, we've been looking forward to something like this for a long time. I think ideas wise, right? When we were talking about what are some ideas that we could do for the 10-year anniversary at the end of the season last year, this was one of those ideas, right, of being able to bring these former FC Cincinnati players in for a game at some point, maybe a small-sided game, anything, right, just to see these guys play. But Ryan, we're going to have a blue team and a white team. Obviously, blue team is going to be wearing the 10th anniversary kit. And then the other one is going to be wearing the white canvas kits. So notable names for the blue team. You're seeing Austin Berry as the captain, Jimmy McLaughlin, Corbin Bone, Kenny Walker, Omar Cummins, and then Matt Boehner as well, University of Cincinnati alumni right there. And then for the white team, you're seeing a guy like Ledesma. You're seeing GB Fall, Danny Koenig. Honestly, a surprise for me, Kendall Waston. Kendall Waston's going to be in the building. And then Matthew Duplan, honestly, another surprise one too. And then you've got the coaches, right? Our newest academy coaches in Richie Ryan and Justin Hoyt. So, Ryan, my question to you, who are we most excited to see here?
Honestly, Sam, when all of this comes out, if you look at all the players that were announced, you hit on all the notable people. None of these guys, I believe, have played in TQL. So for me, just to see all these club legends play in the stadium that they built, essentially, like for me, that's the most defining thing. Like these guys set the culture, set what it means to be an FC Cincinnati player at Nippert Stadium. And to have the opportunity to play in TQL for them has to be so special. So that's why I think you see a lot of these guys come back. That's why you see a lot of these guys work for the club. I think you hit it, nail on the head for me. I'm excited to see Kendall Waston come in and play in TQL. I think that'll be really cool. And I'm a big fan of Corbin Bone. I really would have loved him to play more over a longer period of his career with FC Cincinnati. Obviously timing wise and where he was age wise, but I'm most excited for those guys. But the whole thing is just going to be awesome to see him playing in TQL, relive all the memories. I hope we get a highlight reel or of some sort. It's almost, if you guys are familiar with like the charity matches you see over in Europe, like you see the beer guts on some of the players now, and you're like, oh man, like they're just like us essentially playing careers. But it'll be really fun. I'm excited for this one. Again, it's kind of unfortunate that it's on a Sunday night. So I don't know how many people will stick around, being that it's after the game like that.
I can imagine a decent amount should and will.
Oh, 100% they should. It's just a question of will they, because school's starting up too. So that's kind of, again, unfortunate. But I'm very excited. I'm excited about the potential that we have, like a 10-year something, potentially for the MLS squad that does something. There's going to be a TIFO as well for the 10-year. That'll be really cool. I'm really excited for it, the overall experience, and kind of what this whole night has been a capsulation of 10 years of FCC.
Yeah, I think honestly the two 15-minute halves, Ryan, I think we're gonna leave the stadium there going, man, I wish can we have done like a full 90? Like that would have been great. I'd sit there and watch a full 90 of these guys. So I think that'll probably be the biggest takeaway is like, man, I wish they would have played more. I would have loved to see more. For me, guys, obviously that we want Ledesma, right? I want to see a Ledesma free kick from outside the 18. That would be amazing. But honestly, Omar Cummins, would love to see him. Was phenomenal in the midfield playing for FC Cincinnati, went to the University of Cincinnati. So would be really cool full circle moment for him. Like you said, he's been around the club since I think he was one of the very first former FC Cincinnati players to join the club in a staff position. And he's
Austin Berry too, for sure.
Well, yeah, Austin Berry as well, being, in the training aspect of it. But both of those guys, right, being able to be a part of this game is going to be electric. And I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah, should be a good one. So go check it out. Sunday night's going to be something special, just as much as this past Sunday was fun to have afternoon soccer too. Like, I think that was a nice change of pace. But Sam, we'll close it out here. We have our trivia question and answers. So trivia question of the week, again, presented by Goals TV. Where does Evander sit all time for goal contributions versus other Brazilians in MLS play? Sam had locked in third, I believe. The answer is first. Evander is the highest goal contribution player of any Brazilian player that ever played in the MLS. He's had 39 goals and 27 assists, 66 goal contributions. We have Welton, who played in the early 2000s, I think started in the 90s into the 2000s, 43 goals, 22 assists. Felipe Martins, who played for Orlando forever, 26 goals, 36 assists. Luciano Emilio, 41 goals, 9 assists. And Camilo Senveza, I believe, 39 assists and 17 goals. So Evander, Sam, I got to ask you, is he the best Brazilian to ever play in the MLS? I don't think this is talked about enough. Now, with this season, has set the most goal contributions of any Brazilian to ever play in the MLS in 3 seasons.
Yeah, I would say he's the best Brazilian to play in the MLS, not by, career achievements or anything, but strictly based off of his, the way he's played in the MLS and has adapted, to the style. And I mean, you can't say enough about the guy, about everything he's done, not only in, Cincinnati, but Portland. And wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I think it's a cool stat. I think it's like it shows statistically he's there.
So
if he can win a trophy or two and win an MVP, he's solidified as, one of the best.
So the guy that's in second has about, you said what, around 50 goal contributions?
So actually 65 was second place.
And Evander at 60 what?
66. One more goal contribution.
Okay. All right. Yeah. If you're listening to this right now, we've already tweeted it out. So go like that. Considering that this past game was the game he clinched it. So,
well, it was an MLS play.
Oh, well. He's already, well, I guess, against Miami, that's a big deal.
Yeah. And he's got a whole bunch more to give us.
Yeah.
It's only going to keep getting better. So thanks for joining us tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We covered a lot of things. We covered 2 games, 2 previews, new transfers.
Yeah.
We're here for all of it, guys. So follow along. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go check us out on YouTube. We'll be rolling out the content. We'll be covering, of course, this alumni match on Sunday as well. And hopefully FCC will be moving on in Leagues Cup. That would be a dream, but hopefully we'll all come out healthy and ready to go for the stretch run too. So thanks again, and we'll see you guys next week.